Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming down today. This is something that hasn't been done before in my reign at ComCab, but I thought I would like to do it now because there's been a lot of changes since 2019 when I joined, 2021 when there was an acquisition, and now again in 24 when there's been another acquisition. So I think that it was a nice time to just get a nice variety of our drivers that have been on the circuit and have worked exceedingly hard and got us where we are today. So thank you everyone for that. And I've got a very wide range. So I'm going to introduce them all one by one, and then I'm going to ask them a few questions about where we've been, what they think, is there any improvements, and are we doing it correctly? So we have Martin. Martin's been on the ComCab for 13 to 15 years now. Fitzroy, 16 years. We've got Tony, 30 years. We've got Danny, a year. And we've got Alfie, 4 months. And so I've got a very wide range of drivers that we're going to have a chat with and go through to ask their opinions on certain pieces of work that we do and how we've done it since the first transition of Advantage to the new platform, which is Sherlock, and then also what we've done by getting extensions of contracts and bringing more corporate work into our business and doing it the right way, the proper way. Okay, so Martin, I'm going to start with yourself. You've worked on the circuit, you've worked on several different platforms over the years.
I have, yes.
And now we've gone through a transition where we've gone from Advantage, which was our main system when I took over, and we worked exceedingly hard and we're on to Sherlock. What do you see? What's the advantages? Have you seen the differences in the different systems that we're using?
It's so much easier to plan your day. In terms of technological advancement, it makes my life so much easier.
Okay.
It's a fascinating system to work with, and if I'm honest, it's surgically attached to my hand.
Right, okay, it's that good, is it?
It's a great system.
Okay, and that's because what we have done, we've listened to you, the drivers, for you to tell us exactly what you want and how you want it changed. And we've been doing that since the inception of the new Sherlock. We are working on it constantly to make sure that there are features that become available that you need, and also for what we need for the passengers. So has that made a lot of difference to yourself?
An awful lot of difference from a financial point of view. My income has increased 50–60%.
Wow.
The work is thick and fast. It's just so easy to manage, and it's very in black and white. What you see is what you get. It's a very simple system to use.
Okay, lovely. Listen, thanks for that. And listen, mate, if you have any things that you would like us to look at in the future going forward to make it even easier, or to make it easier for the driver to use, then please come and see us. And as we do, you know, I have an open door. Joe, who looks after the tech as well, Tim, who's here for onboarding and recruitment, always listens to what there is from what's out there in the marketplace as well as, yeah?
Thank you, Tony.
So thanks, and please carry on using our system.
I intend to, thank you.
Okay, good. And now moving on to Fitzroy, who I've known for quite a while, and we've had a couple of breakfasts together, and we've gone out and spoken about what the trade is about and how he can help us. One of the things we have done, we've listened to, again, I said it with Martin, we've listened to drivers about futures. Futures is something that I'm very big on because I like family life. I want people to have family lives. So if you can arrange your day and you can set your day out and you want to say to your partner, your wife, whoever it is, I will be home at 7 o'clock, we're going out tonight, or I'm going to be home at 7 o'clock, let's have dinner. That's life. And that's about our work. You've got to have a balance between life and work. And I think futures can give you that. Yes, you can chase the street all day long. Yes, you can do what you want. You're self-employed. But futures is a big part of where I believe it gives the driver some homely life, some life outside of sitting in the cab 24/7. So Fitz, you use futures quite a lot.
Yes.
So when I first joined back in 2019, futures was a thing that you could take 2 futures over 2 days and that was your limit. Well, I didn't like that because it weren't giving you that flexibility. So I moved it to 3 days and 4 futures, I believe. Then I went to 5 days and 5 futures. We're now at, listening to the drivers again, we're now at 7 futures per day for 7 days, right? If you just do 5 days, right, you've got 35 jobs a week that you can plan, right? And I do hear drivers telling me there's no futures. Well, unfortunately, it's not always there for everyone every single day on your doorstep. Sometimes you may have to look a little bit wider. Sometimes you may have to run a few more miles. Sometimes the cab door isn't open for you to go in and drive it in the morning, right? This is about working. What do you think about how we're doing futures now?
Futures has developed very well, as you said. It depends on what you want to do. I try to do it at the beginning of my day, so I want to see where I want to go, and looking at the start of my day. Some people actually look at it the other way. They want to finish at a certain time,
right, yeah.
So they're looking at jobs at the end of their day. So it's a way that you can develop things. You can actually, it's like you can develop it so it's an A to B and then B to C and C to D. It depends on what you want to do. It's a combination of using the tablet and using the portal, and it's you've got to play with the system, and once you've seen how it can benefit you, you can earn a lot of money.
Thank you.
And it saves a lot of dead time you just driving around.
Has the increase from, say, the 3s to the 5 to the 7, has that increased your potential earnings?
Absolutely, yeah. The world's your oyster if you can actually go out there and use 7 jobs per day, but sometimes it's difficult to manage, but you'll find a happy medium.
Okay. On that, I want to bring Tony in, because Tony does futures, but he also does taxi card through futures. Tony's been 38 years cab driver, 30 years on ComCab. 30 years on ComCab. So, do you know, that's a long time, and Tony's probably seen a lot of changes through the time. I've only been in the black cab trade since 2019, but lived in it all my life, and I've seen the changes. You've seen it actually out on the street. So taxi card is a very big part of ComCab, and has been for 40 years. They've held the contract.
Always done. Yeah.
So it's always been a bit of a lifeline and a bit of blood within the ComCab. We was very fortunate again to get extension, which we've got that now until 2026. It was supposed to go in 2021. We've ended up to 2026 because of our professionalism, because of how we look after it. How do you see the taxi card giving you what you want out of it?
I normally book the taxi card the day before. I live in the north. I'm helping the people with disabilities.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And it starts my day, you know?
Yeah.
I get a bit of satisfaction out of it, you know?
Great.
I take them into town and it starts my day off, you know?
Lovely. And that's really good, because you're using both of our good pieces, which is our futures, and one of our lifelines, which is taxi card. And the other thing that I get from that, and I get from hell of a lot of other drivers, is the satisfaction that we are helping people. So I've looked at, and I've done quite a lot this year alone, with the Veterans Trip, with the Albany Trust, and also with the Magical Mystery Tour with the children. And you know, to give is fantastic. And I find that this iconic brand, this iconic piece of work, which is the Black Taxi, the Hackney Carriage Club, they give so much. I was only yesterday contacted by another charity which is for children to help them out in January. You know, these things that the cab trade do, you see the bridge when all the veterans come on for the Poppy Day, you see all of it, and this is our iconic brand, the gold standard of drivers. That gives me so many thoughts of joy and happiness.
Get them to the hospital, their appointments, you know, taking me.
So we're another lifeline to them.
You feel great. I feel great. It starts my day and I feel great.
That's fantastic. So much. Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to move on now to Dan. Dan has been with us a year now, and I've got to know Dan quite well through his other activities, and he does great job with young kids, looking after them, bringing them through, getting them off the streets, giving them something to aim for, and that is very important to me as well, giving something back again. And Dan's very like that as well. So, and he looks after some very good boxers as well. But also, Dan, you've been a cab driver. You are a cab driver. You're out on our circuit. You've been out for a year now, and through speaking to yourself, the corporate work that we bring in. I hear there's no corporate work. I hear that there's this, here's that. We have an abundance of corporate work every single day. The figures are in the tens of thousands of pounds that we put through into drivers' pockets per day. And when I'm talking like high figures in tens of, and over the course of a week, that's a lot of money that goes in onto the circuit. What do you think about the corporates, and how does it help you in your day?
It helps me in my other job, firstly, so I can plan my day.
Right.
I was struggling before I come onto ComCab to balance my two working worlds.
Okay.
So for me to be a boxing coach, I need to give that a lot of time, and I can now because of ComCab. So
right.
with the future corporate work, which is, I would say, it's always quite premium. There's a lot of premium prices on there, and it's well set out and it's well priced. I can pick what I want to do when I want to do it.
Fine.
So I earn more money and work less hours as a cab driver, which is good for me.
Yeah.
Then I can mix that with, because I normally work at night, a lot of fixed prices when I'm just shooting about. I work in the city a lot.
Okay.
A lot of people who want to go home.
Yes.
And the prices are really good. The ASAP jobs, they flash up. I take them. At the weekends, I'll put more taxi card working because I like to help people.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I've met some of the happiest people ever on taxi card, and they brighten up my day.
Yes.
So it's a mix of everything, but predominantly corporate.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to plot my time out so I know that I'm not anxious about where I've got to be and what I've got to do. I know what I'm doing and I'm organised. So I've had my best year as a cab driver financially, and I feel better personally because I'm completely organised in what I do every day.
Thank you. I've been round before we started filming. I went round and I've spoken to the drivers individually, and they've told me some of their best days that they've had, and some of the figures that have been said to me are amazing. And you know what? May they long continue. I know what it is at the end of the week because I pay it every week. So, and I know that it's not a small amount. But listen, I think it's fantastic that the fixed prices are attractive. They're, I would say, 90 times out of 100, a lot more than what the meter would go. And I think we've done that in the reason of to make sure that the driver's happy. Right? There will be swings and roundabouts, right? And that's one thing that I can't change, right? I'd love to be that person that says, yeah, it's above every single time. But there are certain clients that will not accept that price because it's a meter plus, and we get what we need. So from that, there is swings and roundabouts. But if you are telling me that it's financially the best year, you are working less hours to get more money, we've got to be doing it right.
Yeah, maybe, people can believe it or not, but I'd say try it. And it's also good, there's an open door policy with yourself.
Yep.
Joe and Tim are great, Lorraine at the office. Everyone's very helpful at ComCab, whether it's coming in with a technical problem or the DQO supporting you for work. There's a difference. ComCab is head and shoulders above the rest in a sense of what you get as a driver when you need support. So I'm all for it, and I always recommend people, as you know,
lovely,
carry on doing that.
And we do even encourage people to recommend, and we do have a refer a friend policy, which I know everyone around us has done it at some point and benefited from it financially. Okay, so listen, Dan, thanks very much. Carry on. So moving on to our Alfie. Alfie's been out for how long?
4 months.
4 months. Been a cab driver for how long? 4 months. So literally, we did not drag him as it used to be. We did not drag him from Penton Street straight onto the circuit. Right? We didn't do that. Alfie has come on his own accord. He was recommended by a friend. He see what was in the industry, and he come and joined us. So, Alfie, you've been out for 4 months. So you're surrounded by all us old geezers, right? That have been in the game a long, long time, and have been on ComCab for a long time, and relatively new. You've joined us. How has it helped you as a new driver coming into the industry? Because I look at cab drivers and I look at my family who back in the day went straight out on the street and it was chase, drove themselves mad every day. Yeah. I look at the systems now that we've produced, and I'm looking at, and I've looked at your work over them 4 months, and I see that you're caning it in some respects. So good luck to you in that way. But also you've got a bit of family life as well. You've got a boy, you've dropped him at school, you've got a bit of family life. How's it helping you as a new driver on ComCab?
It's exactly what you just said. Sort of touching it a couple of minutes ago. The fact that you can go onto your phone and pre-book jobs, whereas on some of the other apps you're not really able to do that.
Right.
So you can literally go onto your phone, so there's a job going from here to there, and it's literally 5 minutes away from you, and you've started your day,
right,
and then you're able to tell the missus that you'll be home early.
Right, yeah. And that helps for a happy life, yeah?
Every day.
Because we all know a happy wife is a happy life, yeah? That's for sure. We all know that. So I think from them points of view, for technology-wise, you're new to the industry. Yeah. You haven't experienced the old foot pedal and everything else in the old days where we was on pure on radio. We're on tech now, we're on new tech. How do you find our tech?
Easy. Right. The fact that you can just literally go onto your iPhone,
yep,
and everything's there, and even if there is a problem, you're able to call up, whereas with the other companies you can't.
Right, okay.
There is no phone number, there isn't any support. With literally ComCab, literally go onto your phone, and if you call DQO within seconds.
Right, and also one of the big things that we've been working on, and I'm really proud to say that we've achieved the goal, is LTNs. We work very closely, obviously, with London councils, which is holds the taxi car contract, and we've started with one borough, which is Hackney. We've worked for the last 3 months on a pilot. We have contributed to all the financial pieces to get it across the board. Technology has been a very large part of it, and I'm glad to say that we have now successfully, after the pilot, gone live. So any ComCab driver who is working on a taxi car job can pick up or drop off in the LTNs in Hackney. We will be working further with London councils, and we will be further working on the other 32 boroughs to achieve the same goal. So, Tony, do you do any taxi card in Hackney?
No, don't touch it. That reason.
You don't touch it because of that reason?
Clear with a ticket.
Right, so as of now, as of today, that fear has been alleviated. That's gone. Good, okay. So that's something that we can pass along and tell our other drivers when we're out there. Do you know that on a taxi car job now in Hackney, ComCab's done it, and from that, everyone will now not have to pay any PCNs. They will be excluded from any PCNs. Okay, just before we wrap up, what I'd like to say, if there's anyone here that would like to tell me something, or tell us something that's happened that they think is good or bad, we're here, we're an open forum. So is there anyone that wants to have a quick say?
I've gone.
So, there was a particular account that wasn't covered very well at the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I noticed that. I then contacted Tim to talk to the account manager, and then arrangements were put in place that account was covered at the weekend. Tim, could you say?
Well, yeah, so as I said, sometimes it's slightly difficult for us to see an instance like that. So when a driver likes to highlight them to us, we'll always take a look, definitely. I mean, keeping the accounts happy is the most important thing we can do. So I've been in operations myself in the industry around 20 years. So I know a good suggestion from a bad suggestion when it comes to operations, and what you put forward was actually a very good idea. So I spoke to the account manager for the particular account. They agreed, thought it was a good idea. And I think by the following weekend, we actually had that in place. And from that point onwards, through your idea, that account has actually been served 100% at weekend. So it was very worthwhile.
Excellent. So from that, Fitz, have you seen that also now is a benefit to you personally?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so personally you had an idea, personally you saw that it wasn't right, personally you've come to us with a suggestion, and we have then put that in place, and you have seen an increase. So that can't only go for you, that's for other drivers as well. So I say this as well, that if drivers do see something that they think they've got a better idea, we'll listen to it. And as Tim has said, Tim's got 20 years, I've got 40 years, and we're a successful company. So from that, if we know that it's the right thing to do, we'll do it and we'll help, because the more work that we can generate, the more work it is for you chaps. And as I think everyone knows, is that all I do is I want to put more money in your pockets. That's my goal. Yeah. So has anyone else got anything else to say?
I think we need more drivers.
Well, listen, Tony, you can't be more right in the fact of we're growing. Right, we have grown since 2019. We're 10% up on last year, but we are getting more work, and we're getting more work in different areas and more different areas and different work, different types of work. And the thing that I see is that we are increasing our numbers in a diminishing marketplace, but we want to make sure that we feed everyone we possibly can. So yes, the more drivers that come on board, the more chance we've got to take in more work. The more work we take and we give a good service, that would only lead to more work. That is a successful business.
If anything, when you're coming in, I'm coming in, 9 times out of 10 I've got a taxi card or
Yep.
an out job coming in.
Yep.
And there's 2 or 3 empty cabs around me.
Yes.
And I know there's work behind.
Yeah.
They're coming in empty. And when I'm coming home, all different times,
Yeah.
you're looking and there's people living near me, and I'm thinking you could have something.
I travel, I drive in and out every day, and I see the chaps who will not do a run more than a mile. They're driving in empty, 17 miles, 18 miles with their light on, right? Come and join us.
Yeah.
Come and join us, because you've got that chance of getting a job in. I know that Alfie don't like me saying it, because he wants everything now. He wants absolutely everything that's out there. So, but yes, I totally agree. We could do with more drivers. And the other thing with drivers, we would like to see accept. Rejections hurt, because we can't tell that old lady and we can't tell that young gentleman that we're going to be on time. But we need to say that. We need to be that confident. So yes, I agree totally. And I'd just like to bring Joe, who's a fleet manager and has been a fleet manager at ComCab for many years. He's got a reputation in the industry as being one that will be there to help at any time, any place, anywhere. He's slightly like the Martini Man, to be truthful, if anyone remembers that. But Joe, our tech, we've worked so well together on it. We've worked with numerous peoples within the industry to say what we're doing, how we're doing it. What do you think about our tech?
Well, as you mentioned, Tony, we are not a static company. We always try to evolve and bring new technology to meet the dynamic of the needs of the industry and the clients. We know one of the biggest issues we have at the moment for the industry is the traffic. The other one is the road closure and the penalty charge, speed fines. So we're exploring to interact the real-time updates, traffic updates on our system, which is already on our system. So only thing we need to do is probably do a few tricks, as well as try to alert drivers about the cameras. This is something we're going to try to bring next year. Hopefully we're going to help drivers, especially for traffics and we're
going to bring that in for a security reason, for safety.
Yes.
Because it's a safety product that we will be bringing in for the cameras. It's about safety. And just following on from Joe about the tech, is that we do have two types of tech. We do have the phone and we do have the tablet. We have a fully fitted system that is incorporated in a lot of our taxis, which is our tablet, our printer and our credit card. It's a one-stop shop. There's no one that has this at the price that what we charge, okay? We put it there, it's not a money earner, it's there for you to earn money from. Our credit card is, I think, around about 2.5%, one of the cheapest in the marketplace. Tablets, printers, they're all supplied. They're free of charge. There is a rental on that, but they're supplied free of charge. So any drivers that are looking, who are on their iPhones and want a tablet, because I do think next year there's going to be a new ruling from TfL on the highways about phones and touching of phones. I think there is already some type of law around that you can't touch a phone that's a handheld, but a tablet is a fixed unit. So keep that in mind, drivers, and especially don't touch your phones when you're driving. Have a great time. Thank you all, chaps, for coming down. This has been a very satisfying talk with me for yourselves, because I like to understand what we're doing, if we're doing it right. I know that we don't do everything right, but it sounds like we're doing okay, yeah? And this has been a wide variety of drivers. It isn't a case that we've gone out and picked this one because he's going to say yes, this one is going to say yeah. We've got 30, 16, 15, 4 months, a year, yeah? So we've gone across the whole range of drivers. So that's where we are. So ladies, gentlemen, come and join ComCab, come and join the team, be part of our family, yeah? Because that's what we are, we're a family, we're a real company. Thank you very much.